normal episode.
Normal.
Are we normal?
Nothing's normal here. We're constantly bending the rules for what constitutes as a normal show. And what I will say is that I'm excited to talk about some new things that I watched this week.
Me too. Well, I don't know. I'm not very excited to talk about some of them, but
yeah, Luke, you did quite a bit. You want to?
I did do quite a bit.
Kick off the show.
Okay. Flipping tables. So Tyler talked about Werewolf by Night last week. Ooh. And he what the heck?
You probably missed it.
I
was doing some weird tongue stuff.
That's what she said. You talked about Werewolf by Night last week, and you gave it a lot of praise. So I watched it literally the next day, and he's right. Everything he said about it was right. It's awesome. Woo! It's one of the best things Marvel's put out
in a long
in
while.
Phase 4.
Yeah.
It was awesome. More of that, please.
Yeah. Do you agree that it'd be really cool if they did that around Halloween every year?
Yeah, something like
just
that.
Add to that little story. I think that'd be so sick.
Yeah.
That'd be so cool.
I watched that though, and I was like, all right, I guess I'm in a little bit of a Halloween mood right now. And I guess I was more in a werewolf mood. So I decided to watch An American Werewolf in London.
Ooh, nice.
It was fine.
Yeah, it's old and fine. But
dude, I was reading reviews on it.
Yeah.
I was reading reviews on it. People were like, this is the scariest and the funniest movie you'll ever see. I didn't think it was scary or funny. I just thought it was an interesting story.
Yeah. It's a classic. So
great makeup work. I was surprised how short it was though too. It's
in an hour 20?
Maybe.
Yeah.
It's short.
Quick.
But yeah, it was pretty good. I give it a solid Matthew McConaughey.
You have a purple fuzz on your face, and okay, yeah.
Did I get it?
Yes. Well done.
Thank you.
Carry on. I love this guy.
Thank you. I was still in a Halloween mood, so I decided to watch some other stuff that sometimes has werewolves in it. These particular things that I watched though, and I watched the live-action Scooby-Doo movies.
Oh, dude, they added them to Netflix, didn't they?
Well, they're on HBO Max.
Oh, that's
already.
That's true too.
They are also.
I freaking love those movies, dude. I think they're so awesome. It's just like watching a live-action episode of the TV show.
Yeah.
Super underrated. They're super goofy. The effects are so bad, it's hilarious. 10 out of 10 would recommend.
2 out of 2?
2 out of 2, easily. Oh, yeah. Let's see, what else did I do? I started watching season 4 of The Sinner. I just got added to Netflix. It's a show I really like a lot, and I feel like season 4 has been a big step up from season 3, which was just okay. This one is small town conspiracy, so I'm enjoying it.
Always fun.
Then the two main things I did. One I did with Brett, so I'll wait for that one. The other thing that I did was I played the game Scorn. It's free on Game Pass, so I said, what the heck?
Why not?
Why not? I'll play it. It feels like it was made by a 13-year-old.
Oh.
It's purely just there to be gross, but it's not. I never was watching it and just being ugh. It's just just an ambiance that is uninteresting, honestly.
Ugh.
It's a game inspired by H.R. Geiger art.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the only cool thing about it. Other than that, I think it's just a bad video game. The controls feel horrible. The combat, which should not even be in the game, is awful. It's one of the labels on it is first-person shooter. You do some shooting, but I hated every second of it. There is zero story. Zero. You start the game and then...
Yeah, there's no prompting.
It ends. There's no dialogue. You just walk around on this alien planet.
There's barely any music.
So Tyler, what I'm hearing is that you've played this a little bit too.
Yes. Not much, but yes. I did not stick with it as long as Luke did.
And then it randomly like gets horny at the end.
Oh.
Yeah, you were sending all those pictures.
Like it's this gross alien world or ship or something this entire time. And then you get to this building and there's just statues everywhere of people in like sex positions. And I was just like, who approved this? Like, what's the point? And I didn't understand it. And because there's no story, there's no context. And I made it to a boss fight at the end. I knew the game was almost over. I was hating it. I just uninstalled it and I watched the ending on YouTube. And I think the ending is so absolutely dumb. I give it a dumpster fire. Don't play it. I don't think it's worth it. For as short as the game is, it's a waste of time.
Yeah.
You can play anything else.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, I started it. I played maybe 10, 15 minutes, and I was kind of like, yeah, I don't think this is going to be for me.
Is this one of those games where if, like, maybe the people who made it were more interested in, like, level design or art design, and, like, this may land them a gig somewhere else, but not as, like, game develop, like, not as
writers,
right? Well, yeah, or like gameplay developers.
Maybe as like a puzzle designer.
Yeah.
And if somebody makes a puzzle game, but the puzzles are fine.
Was this a little bit maybe like, I remember when No Man's Sky came out, and it was this weird, like, it was a small little indie game. Obviously, it had big ambition, but Sony really blew it up. Did Microsoft overblow this? Like, because Microsoft made this, like, a big part of their, like,
I think
in the last couple.
I get what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I remember when No Man's Sky was coming out and like the marketing for it. It was like, oh man, this is gonna be the next big thing with procedural world and like all this. And Scorn, I mean, it had like a Summer Games Fest trailer.
Yeah.
And it had a Game Awards trailer, and like they were really pumping it up for October on Game Pass, and like. The problem with it is in the trailer they show some of the quote unquote gunplay, and that's not what Scorn is. Like Scorn is not that in the slightest.
If there was no guns in this game and you just walked around and did the puzzles, I feel like it would be improved 100-fold.
Oh yeah. Wow!
But the fact that you just even have to carry around a gun, and like some random worm will just like tap you.
Yeah.
And
yeah, it's a really weird.
I was just annoyed the entire time I was playing it.
It's going for atmospheric, I'd say. So like if you're
is it like
to get to your question,
the video game version of The Lamb? Just a weird atmospheric movie that doesn't.
Did Lamb have a story?
Kind of.
Not a good one, just a story.
It had some plot.
It's better.
It's not well explained, but it's there.
Yeah, it's JT kind of brings up what I was gonna get to. So it's a game that's H.R. Geiger art. I mean that's what they're going for. It's like, hey, he makes cool art. Let's see if we can turn it into somewhat of a video game. I don't know. I didn't stick with it because I could tell that it just wasn't going to be something I enjoyed.
Yeah.
So I have to give it an incomplete.
That's fair. That's fair.
But I don't know. I mean, I guess I'll give it. I'm not going to give it credit per se. I'll give it a hat tip on like when you start the game and like you start walking around, like it looks pretty. Like the graphics aren't bad. It just doesn't feel good to play like at all. And well, I'll talk about graphics and gameplay a little bit later, and I am not high on graphics as it pertains to gameplay. Like I'd rather have good gameplay than good graphics.
Sure.
So,
yeah.
Yeah, it looks good, but it doesn't feel good. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Oh boy.
I'm sorry that you spent so much time with it, man.
I
You
did
could have been playing anything else.
anything else.
You
Yeah,
could have been running Wellsprings in Destiny.
that's right. I could have been playing. I quit so I could play Destiny. So I think I'm gonna put myself through pain. I'm gonna grind the heck out of Destiny.
Well, real quick before we jump on over to what Luke and I did together, I just want to real quick in the chat, like, welcome. I see Moon Knight has a question for us.
The actual Moon Knight?
We will. I think so.
One of those personalities.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
There's multiple.
Which
so
one?
Hopefully it's a nice one. But yeah, hit us with your question. And anyone else in the chat, Nick, JT, like, feed us some Fanbox questions. We love those, and we'll answer those near the end of the show. So, Luke and I did go to the theater.
Look at you, classy gentlemen.
First time I've been there in a while. Oh wait, no, I saw Avatar there.
Yeah, bro. We're gonna see another one this week.
Dude, Avatar was so good in theaters.
Okay, ignore them. Ignore them. Luke and I went and saw Amsterdam. My wife went with us.
My wife.
It was a fun date night. We both went into this movie.
And I was there.
And Luke was there. And
third wheel!
Luke was there. But neither of us, we had kind of seen the first trailer, like the teaser trailer, but hadn't really seen anything else other than that. So we had very little knowledge about what to expect. I'm curious, Luke, was this movie at all what you expected?
No. But also yes. And to explain that a little bit, I guess I was expecting it to be good.
Oh, interesting. Hot takes.
Not that hot.
Not hot.
It's not getting good reviews.
Yeah.
So I feel like
it's reviewing pretty poorly.
That's it. I actually kind of enjoyed it.
It's at 34% and
maybe,
61%.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's getting crapped on.
I kind of had fun with it. I don't know why. Maybe I don't know why. I had a lot of fun with it though. I thought Christian Bale was weird, and maybe I was just in the mood for something weird, because that is what this movie is. It's pretty. It kind of seems like everyone who was on production, or maybe even in the editing room, was maybe like on a little bit of LSD or weed or something, because there are moments where it just decides to just kind of do its own thing for a second.
Yeah.
Like, we're doing something over here, and then it kind of gets back to it. There were laugh out loud moments. I mean, we all had some.
There was
good
parts
laughs.
where I laughed. There's the funniest bit in the whole movie is a spoiler, so I can't say it. But I think Taylor Swift fans will love it.
My favorite review is, behind the high energy and flashy cast, there's a shocking lack of emotional depth, like a performer giving us jazz hands paired with a vacant stare. That's fantastic.
So that goes into my biggest complaint.
Oh, yeah.
I felt like this movie was just really lazy. I didn't think anybody was good in this movie, particularly, and it pains me to say this because I am a big fan of him. I thought John David Washington was terrible in this movie. I thought he was just like, "Hey, I'm a lawyer.
Watch me lawyer some lawyers.
We need to go to Amsterdam. Lingo. Attempt at joke. Oh my gosh, I was so bored whenever he was on the screen. And I felt like it got a little better when it was him, Christian Bale, and Margot Robbie. But even then, I felt like it was just such a mess. I was kind of tuned out.
Yeah, there's an interesting. It seems like, at least for maybe the first and part of the second act, they really try and play him and his stoicness off of Christian Bale and his kookiness. Yeah. And again, I don't know necessarily if I would say it works, but it seems like that's what they were trying to do.
I was getting people reading lines vibes in this entire movie.
The other thing that, when you mentioned lazy, and I hadn't really thought about it this way until you said that, and it's that, like, there is a lot of voiceover.
Narration, yeah.
A lot of narration, which I can work in the right context, let's be fair. But it just kind of felt like they didn't do enough show not tell. They did a lot of telling and not a lot of showing because they were having too much fun with some of the kooky stuff that.
Know what I think
They
would have
wanted
made
to
this
do.
movie way better?
What?
Different director for multiple reasons. One being that the director is kind of a sleazebag, and he's definitely a sleazebag. I think if this would have been a Guy Ritchie movie, it would have been a lot more fun.
I would have loved to have seen a Guy Ritchie version of this. I think you're absolutely right. That could have been a lot of fun.
Nobody does, hey, we need to go back and show what happened better than Guy Ritchie.
Mm-hmm.
He makes, and it's kind of I feel like in a lot of movies, it's a cop-out for storytelling, but he does it with so much energy that it's so much fun. Even like watching the terrible King Arthur movie.
Oh, that movie was bad.
It's a terrible movie. But like, you can still have fun when like you're going through those little riffs that I think Guy Ritchie is really good at doing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh, that's a bad movie though. I'd say it's probably as good as this movie. The story is really crazy, and the fact that part of it is true.
Yeah.
And I think that little bit is the only actual true part.
Oh, probably.
I think all of the characters are made up, except for that one character. I don't know. I think there's a story that I'd rather see with that character than the story we got.
Yeah. Yeah, they maybe tried to do too many things with it being a murder mystery / political thriller / whatever.
It got big really fast.
It did because, like you said, or like the review said, there's a large cast, and you're kind of wondering throughout, like, oh, well, this is an interesting, casting decision for this particular role, and I wonder why they do that. And then by the end, you go, oh, okay, I know why they did that. But if you take out a couple of those characters, or even maybe restructure it a little, I think you're right. I think it could be a lot more interesting, and it wouldn't try and necessarily hold the mystery box over you, for the whole time. Because even the main mystery, you think even the main mystery is kind of solved about 3/4 of the way through, and then it's like, okay, well, we got to figure out this bigger thing.
And then we get to like the last climactic part, and honestly, I just felt like it went on forever.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the theater stuff that they show in the trailer? It looks like they're on a stage.
Yeah.
Okay.
I felt like it was like a fourth act. It was
those
just
are
so
always fun.
long. And I mean, I wasn't enjoying it at that point, so
Yeah. I think you're right. I think if they had done something to integrate that true story part, make it more of the main story, the A plot, and then have maybe some of the murder mystery stuff be the B plot, I think that could have worked a little better.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't. So
there are funny parts though.
there are, yeah. And truth be told, I still enjoy myself, even if even while just discussing this, I've kind of come down on it a little bit. But
Sorry.
no, I like you're pointing out things that I think in the moment I just overlooked because Margot Robbie's attractive and she's easy to watch on screen.
You are not wrong, sir. Not wrong in the slightest.
Yeah.
Luke, what do you give it?
I give it a straight to streaming. I think if you have interest in it, I would wait till it's on a streamer. It'll probably be on one of them. Are there movies that don't go to streamers anymore?
Probably not. I don't know. Yeah, surely there are. There's got to be. I would
do it.
I might give
it
it
a booyah.
I might give it a Matthew McConaughey. I'd give it a Matthew McConaughey. I think you're right in that there's a lot of things that this movie does poorly. At the same time, it's unique. Unique's not always good, but it's unique. It's not another superhero movie where everyone punches everyone in the face. And not that you have to go watch bad independent movies or even studio movies to like save cinema. Like, don't do that. But I enjoyed myself enough that I think I could recommend it to certain people. Maybe not everyone.
We all know Christopher Nolan already saved cinema.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Thank you, Christopher Nolan.
With Tenet. His best movie.
Best movie ever. I guess, Luke, was there anything else you did?
Oh, man, was there? I don't think so.
Okay. Tyler and I both watched a movie this week, not together, separately. We watched Malignant.
We did.
This is the straight to HBO.
No, this came out last year in theaters. Or I guess it was part of the day and date in theaters during COVID thing.
That's right.
Yeah.
I totally thought this was like an HBO original.
No, it got a theatrical release.
All right. So this was the James Wan, right? Yeah, James Wan.
Yep.
Horror psychological thriller. It's a horror movie.
Made $35 million.
Hey, good for it.
On a $40 million budget, so it wasn't a complete loss.
No, I've seen worse performances. I'm.
It's a spoilery type of thing to talk about.
It's yeah. I don't know how to recommend this movie to anyone. Is it like?
Just know what you're getting into, I think, is how I would recommend this. Like,
sure.
So I think for me, right, like I had seen the trailer a while back. I like what James Wan has done with horror. I would argue he is one of the best horror directors of all time. And I feel pretty strongly about that. This movie is a palate cleanser for him, I think, is how I would kind of describe it. It was made after he finished Aquaman. He wanted to get back to horror as like kind of a reminder to say like, look, I'm not moving away from horror, even though I've done these big movies now. Like, I just want to get back, do something a little bit different.
Yeah.
And what he decided on was a giallo homage 80s B horror film.
Mm-hmm.
And so like know that going in.
Yeah,
I think that's the important thing with this.
It's not trying to be like what the new Halloween movies are, which is like a super serious.
And it's not trying to be a mainstream horror film.
Yeah. It's not. No.
It's trying to harken back to kind of those, and these are his words, those back of the movie store horror films. Like, it's on the back shelf of your local Family Video or Blockbuster.
10 for $1. You rent 10 for $1.
Right. Like, it's one of those movies. I like to call it, and this isn't his words, but this is kind of how I think of it. Like, when you're on a road trip and you stop at a gas station and they have like those movies on the little spinny thing in the middle and they all look just absolutely terrible.
The $5.
A lot of them are WWE movies.
Yeah. Like, I think it's like one of those kinds of movies. That being said, I think what it's trying to do, it executes well. So the beginning of this movie, and I'm not going to go into spoilers, but I'm just going to kind of give you a feel for what you're watching, is like they show the Atomic Monster production logo, and then it cuts into Gotham City, basically. And you're on this cliffside kind of hospital, and they're in like this, there's like a doctor filming like a case record, and she's talking, and this dude runs in, he's like, oh, he escaped again, and like it's like code red and mission command, and like lights are flashing and everybody's screaming and bodies are flying, and you're like, what is happening? My immediate thought was, is this a monster movie? Like, am I watching a monster movie, or is this, I thought this was kind of more like, you know, supernatural horror type thing. And that opening scene happens, and then all you hear is, it's time to cut out the cancer. And I was like, this is going to be bad. This is, oh no. And I didn't at this point realize we're trying to make a funny, bad movie. So I was like, oh man, this is going to be rough. And then throughout, like, I'd say the first act and a half probably, I was like, man, everything just feels a little bit off. The dialogue's a little sticky. Like, the way they're reading it, it feels like, you kind of mentioned this earlier, they're reading off the script. Like, everything just kind of feels a little off kilter. And I started to kind of put it together. I'm like, oh no, I think this is intentional. One of the things in a giallo film, which if you don't know what a giallo film is, it's a 70s Italian kind of crime, horror, slasher type film. And one of the things about it is like weirdly placed scores.
Oh.
And this movie has that in abundance. The score is so weird for this movie, and it doesn't fit like at all.
No, it's
great. So strange. So
no, it's great. You sounded
like the opening score moment, like when they're showing the opening credits, you're like, what is this? It feels like a Saw movie. At the beginning, you're just like, what? That being said, I do think, and I'm trying to remember her name. All the actors and actresses, Annabelle Wallis, they all know what kind of movie they're in, and I think it's awesome.
Yeah,
they do a good job. It's just really nice to see movies like this still get made by big studios and then be okay to make them. I don't know. Did you have any specific thoughts? I mean, I don't care if we.
No, I think this is one of those movies that when it came out, there was just a bunch of baggage around it, and that's why I kind of didn't want to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think watching it knowing that and I didn't know
twist.
I didn't know the twist,
but you knew there was a.
But I knew there was a thing, and I knew that people didn't really like it. So, or
it's a love it, hate
or hate it thing, and I think that perspective did help me just kind of say, I'm just gonna enjoy it.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna watch it to watch it, and like, maybe it's bad, and it is like, it's kind of bad, and it's kind of goofy, and
it's like it's dumb and stupid, but not in a bad way.
Right.
And like I think that's important. Like when you read reviews on this movie, if you're interested in it, you're gonna see that a lot.
Yeah.
Because it is kind of a dumb movie.
Yeah, and there's things that don't always make sense.
Yes, and they're not gonna explain.
They're not gonna explain everything, and not that there are breadcrumbs either for you to like figure it out.
Yeah,
it's just like some things are just unexplained, which absolutely frustrates people in today's internet age. We must know all the things.
Yeah.
But no, I actually kind of enjoyed it. I enjoyed the twist.
Twisty.
I don't think it.
Which twist?
I don't think.
I think there's two.
The twist and shout.
Yeah. You don't have to answer that.
I don't think. If we got the same two twists in mind, I'm not sure. I like one twist way better than the other. But at the same time, I think, especially in the third act, it does kind of this, like, it stops. It doesn't ever take itself too seriously, but there's this moment where she becomes
in control.
Less in control. Well, when she's not in control.
Yeah.
And I love the idea of what they're doing. But
it looks so stupid.
It looks so stupid, and it's like, how is this thing taking out an entire
police force,
squad? Like, and it just doesn't care about making sense in that way.
Nope.
But at the same time, like, I love the idea of like what's happening to her enough that I'm like, it's like whatever, it's fine.
The other really cool thing in that, in that scene and everything that surrounds that scene is just visually kind of what's happening. Like you're seeing kind of two perspectives.
Yeah,
I'd say.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of fascinating how it kind of works.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I do think there's some legitimately good scenes in this movie too. I think the first kill of the movie, like after the opening, is the most James Wan scene in horror ever. And it's really good. Like when the blender cuts on, I was like, ooh, frick.
They progressively get worse.
Yeah.
The kills.
Once you see Gabriel.
Yeah.
And not actually knowing what Gabriel is, but once you see Gabriel like getting the trench coat, you're kind of like, oh. And then from then on, it's like, this isn't scary at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, I don't know. I give it a Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, I'll give it a Matthew McConaughey too.
I think it's pretty safe there.
Yeah.
I'll give it slight boost for, I think its cover is really great. I love the
stuff
for it. I think it looks fantastic.
Yeah.
And the murder weapon is A+. Big fan of that. Did you have anything else on Malignant before I move on?
I don't think so.
Okay. Other thing I did, I went to the Oklahoma and Kansas football game this past weekend.
Football!
Kind of a late decision, but it was a lot of fun. I'm glad I got to go, and my brother and I went. We ran into Game Lord Master in the chat. He was there with his family, and I got to go sit with them and hang out, and it was just really nice to go watch football and see good people. So I was really happy I got to do that. And the last thing I did, I guess one other thing I did, I read the book Brilliant. I just finished that up last week. This is a novel about, so like in 1980, 1% of the population, or 1% of births were born with a special gene that allowed them to be like really adept at things. So like whether it's pattern recognition or being really good at math or reading people or, you know, all these things. One person like has the ability to know where everybody around them is looking, so they can basically make themselves invisible by moving within the vectors of where people are not looking. So it's just like this really interesting like real world take on superpowers.
X-Men.
Yes,
is what Lucky.
Yeah.
Question mark.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's like. It's like if you took the X-Men and tried to ground them a little bit. You know, one guy's really good at tech and things like that. So I finished that book. I'd give it a fanboy worthy. I thought it was really good. I'm reading the second book in that series now. The series or saga or trilogy is called Brilliance by Marcus Saki. And Blake Crouch is a mayor in it. It's kind of funny. And then the last thing I did is I jumped on Forza Horizon 5. The 10th anniversary of Forza Horizon is this week, so they're adding some new modes, music, and so I was like, I should catch up and play a little bit. So I've been playing the Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels DLC.
Nice.
And it is freaking awesome. It's so fun. I'm only going to point out this one thing, because obviously it's just standard fare racing on Hot Wheels tracks with, you know, different, you know, magnetic track. One that reduces, like, kind of the airstream so you can go faster. There's the boosters. There's, like, the dragon head. There's all kinds of cool stuff. And there's actually a mission where you have to like do this race in a specific Hot Wheels car, and they tell you the story of how Hot Wheels were created while you're doing it. Oh, and it's a really cool little like history lesson. I thought that was just really neat. It's a booyah. I think everything surrounding that game is a booyah. It's so good. But that's kind of everything I did.
Awesome. Well, we can move on into news.
Freaking awesome, dude.
It's a good game.
It is.
I don't even like racing games.
It's just fun.
But I like that game.
Yeah, it's just fun to drive
around.
Or
I should say trailers. Do we have any trailers?
I don't have any.
I'm trying to remember if there were any that came out this week.
There is a trailer for.
Because I didn't write any down.
Never mind. I'm not even okay. Magpie Murders, from PBS. If you've not read the book, you will be like, what?
Of course, it's based off a book.
Yeah, it's Anthony Horowitz.
Tyler wouldn't be all over that.
Yeah, there's that trailer. Oh, frick. I watched a couple other.
Well, if you can find them here really, really quickly.
I'll just keep going.
Okay. Luke, you got any news for us?
Got two things.
Hit me with them.
I'll start with the big one that kind of just dropped like right before the show. Hollywood Reporter had a lengthy DC article. I didn't read the full article. I just read their thread of tweets. And I'm just gonna go through the thread.
Can't wait.
Okay.
Yes, please do.
It's DC's uncharted territory. DC is seeing a secret but dramatic land grab amongst some of the biggest players in Hollywood. There's a new secret James Gunn project that he's apparently working on.
Or two,
yeah. Which I'll welcome anything and everything he wants to do. Dwayne The Rock Johnson is touting, funny word, his vision for a future Black Adam vs. Superman movie. I also just want to say, if it is a Black Adam vs. Superman movie and that's its title, that means there'd be more versions of the Henry Cavill Superman where his movie is versus Superman.
Oh
which I think is hilarious.
That's unfortunate.
Matt Reeves is expanding the world of the Batman. He's meeting with writers and directors to build out movies focused on Batman Rogues Gallery, with characters ranging from the Scarecrow to Clayface to Professor Pig. Thumbs up to all three of those villains.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Leadership has an intense desire for Henry Cavill to lead a new Superman movie. The project that would be essentially be Man of Steel 2 is currently in search of writers.
Thumbs up. Guys, let's get our
Let's
typing fingers
get
going.
that worked on. A script treatment for Wonder Woman 3 by Patty Jenkins is expected imminently, and this is amazing. I couldn't believe this. A script for a Flash sequel is already written by Aquaman scribe David Leslie Johnson McGoldrick. Oh, long name. That's it.
So
or was that it? Do you have more?
Wow.
I'm kind of looking more into some of these things. So one of the things on the Superman thing, because I think the tweet on that is kind of unclear. The Hollywood Reporter article states the project. Warner Bros. And then they have an intense desire to reprise the Cavill iteration of the hero. The project that would essentially be Man of Steel 2 is being produced by Charles Roven and is currently in search for writers. There is a wish list, of course, and Christopher McQuarrie is on it. Sources say no official outreach has been made, nor may it be feasible, as the director is working on the next back-to-back Impossible installments. And then Johnson, however, has Superman plans of his own and has been very vocal about his desire to make a Black Adam versus Superman movie.
I just can't believe, with all the drama around Ezra Miller and all of that movie, how there's already a script for the sequel.
Yeah. I mean, when was this movie supposed to come out, though?
Like 3 years ago?
So my guess is, like, they were like, oh, we're feeling really good about this. Let's, like, just go ahead and start working on the next one. We'll, maybe we don't have director or anything pinned down, but we'll get our script going. And they crack that thing out and,
And then Ezra Miller decided to start a cult.
Draft done before pandemic, and then the pandemic happens, and they're like, well, we'll polish it up because we got time. We ain't shooting movies, might as well write them.
Yeah.
I don't know. Cool. I'm excited for anything to happen, I guess, at DC, because right now it just kind of seems like Discovery is just wanting to...
killing things?
Yeah, put everything out to pasture, and I would really like to see more things from DC. And a greater variety, too. Like, I don't just want Batman and Superman.
I
like the Rogues Gallery thing a lot.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I think what kind of stands out in this is like you know what properties are safe.
Yeah.
When you read this article, you know that the Flash is safe, Wonder Woman's safe, Batman's safe, Superman is not necessarily safe, but they will make a Superman movie. It is going to happen with Cavill or without him. And you know that Black Adam and Shazam are likely safe. Yeah. Which it's a good little line of movies. Mm-hmm. The other movies we know that are kind of in the warmer and are I think there are plenty of signs that are clearly pointing to a Static Shock movie. We know Blue Beetle's safe. I think we got Young Avengers kind of being built up. I think we're going to have kind of DC's version of that as well. And the reason I say Static Shock is probably safe, or you could bet on it, is because actors are starting to lobby for it. One of them being Caleb McLaughlin from Stranger Things. He's lobbying pretty hard. So there's something in the discussion of Hollywood about that. So I think there's a clear kind of path forward for DC, and I think this kind of is kind of showing us what that might be. So it's kind of nice to know. I keep saying kind of. It's nice to know that they're actually going to move forward. Because there for a while, it kind of felt like everything was dead. Yeah,
kind of dead.
Yeah, kind of. So no, that was an exciting thread of things to read.
And it would I wasn't expecting it.
If you read the article, there is a spoiler in it for Black Adam. So I read it.
You mean the one that The Rock literally got on Twitter and just showed?
He keeps spoiling, yeah. But if you don't want to know it, then
I don't care about spoilers.
You know what that tells me? That
they don't have a lot of faith in the movie.
They don't have a lot of faith in the movie.
Would you say Morbius did the same thing? I would.
Yeah, but it was Morbin time. So.
Tyler,
I think this will be better than Morbius.
Did you find any trailers?
James Wan's producing a movie called Megan.
Oh, the like
weird robot doll movie.
thing.
Is that a Drake and Josh spinoff? Finally.
It's like a Chucky 2.0.
Yeah. She has some sick dance moves though. Did you watch this trailer?
I watched it, honestly. I watched like the first 45 seconds of it and was like, next.
Yeah, I was like, is this supposed to be a horror movie?
It's his.
Because it's definitely not.
It's his
giving
next
me those vibes.
Back of the movie store camp horror.
He's just producing. He's not directing it.
It would still be that film.
Yeah, it could be. I don't know. It doesn't look good. Thumbs down.
I didn't finish it, but I'll still give it a thumbs down.
It was a skippable ad for me, so I saw the 5-second thing before the actual trailer, and I moved on.
And then you were out of here.
So thumbs down.
Cool. Well, over. Oh, that's to Luke. Over to me. Sorry, camera mix up. Harrison Ford coming to the MCU.
Yeah.
How do we feel about that?
It's fine. I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
Are we ready for more Harrison? Look, he's got Disney money being just jammed in his pockets.
That Disney money long. I bet this was how he got to come back for Indiana Jones.
You're probably right. Look, I'm at the point where I think he probably needs to retire.
The reason he's being recasted is because the actor passed away.
That's true. R.I.P.
I'm fine with it. I don't think the role is going to be that huge because
it'll probably be a very small role.
If it turns into a bigger role, it will be when he's Red Hulk, which
CG,
will just be CG and a voice modulation. So whatever, sure, it's fine.
Yeah,
I like Harrison Ford.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
I'm pretty indifferent on this. I don't care.
I kind of hope he hates it so we can get Han Solo marketing version of Harrison Ford, where he's just like, I freaking hate Star Wars. I freaking hate Marvel. That's the version of Harrison Ford
kind
I
of like the Christian Bale now about Thor.
Oh.
Yeah.
He's like, dude, I did not like this. And he thought he made like a different movie. And like, yeah.
Well, apparently they shot like a whole,
yeah.
It sounds like they didn't know what they were shooting, and my guess is
sounds like Chris and Taika had a plan, and everybody else just go figure it out.
But the plan was maybe like, we don't really have a plan.
Yeah.
The plan is that there is no plan, and we're just gonna do stand-up bits. Classic plan. Tyler, what else you got?
So this is the movie I think everybody's been waiting for. We are getting a sequel to Twister called Twisters, and it starts filming in March of 2023, and they're hoping to get Helen Hunt back.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
There's your news of the day.
I honestly don't even know how to react to that.
I don't know what Rotten Tomatoes, what the critic score for Twister is, but I need to know.
I hope it's at 100%.
I bet it's decent.
It's probably higher than you think. Yeah.
It's 63.
Yeah, it's fresh.
I think Twister is a lot of fun.
Me too.
Dude, it's at 58?
Yeah, I think
for
that's
audience?
garbage.
That's hilarious.
Boo audience.
Why do people hate that movie?
Fun.
Has one of the single best lines in cinematic history. Cows. That's it. That's the line.
Yeah, I'll watch it.
That's the whole line.
I'll absolutely watch this.
Oh yeah.
I don't care how bad it is. I'll watch it.
I probably won't.
Here's the question: who do we get to direct? Rian Johnson, right?
Naturally,
just so that Brett will have to watch it.
No, Hold on.
Can you imagine the twist that would happen in this movie, though, if Rian Johnson was writing it?
No, Roland Emmerich.
Yes. It's perfect. Who did the original?
Boom. I don't know.
Probably someone who went on to like have a lot of success, but like no fame.
John DeBont. Michael Crichton wrote this? What the heck? Oh boy.
He's done some things, looked like.
Yeah, he's done some stuff. Let's see. Where's director? There it is.
Director. What
Speed 2
else?
Cruise Control. Oh my gosh.
Oh, he's the guy who you get for sequels.
He did
Bring him back.
Lara Croft Tomb Raider: The Cradle of Life
Bring
was
him
the last thing he
back.
directed in 2003.
Look.
This director guy.
Is he still alive?
Also, this sequel has the best title ever. Twisters.
That's better than like Aliens.
Yes.
Okay.
Twister 2, Back in the Habit.
Connor Taylor. He has not done anything else.
How much you want to bet that these Twisters, and look, this is not, it's just a joke. It's just a freaking joke. How much you want to bet these Twisters are caused by climate change?
Well, I mean, the climate of the day usually changes to make a tornado, so I can believe it.
I just feel like that's probably going to be, like, they're on the nose, like, here's the moral of the story.
The ending tag is going to be climate change is real. Go to climatechangeisreal.com.
All right, what else? What else we got?
And then you'll watch a 45-minute presentation of Al Gore's Inconvenient Truth.
Everything else. Well, I only have one thing that's not game related, and it's technically game related.
That's way too specific. Just give it to me.
Okay, so G4 is shutting down again.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so...
I mean, to be fair, I watched
none of
zero of
Yeah,
it,
me too.
so...
I watched Zero before it got shut down the first time.
Me too. Yeah, this is not surprising. I don't know why they tried to bring it back. Sucks for the people who are out of jobs, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't... If something dies once, it's kind of hard to bring it back and make it sustainable again like that. Especially something that's so niche.
There's very few. It seems like College Humor is kind of the only one that's been able to kind of limp along at this point. Unless you're someone like, I don't know, Kind of Funny but even aren't they partially funded by like Rooster Teeth?
Hmm.
And that's another news story, I guess.
I didn't write that one down, but Rooster Teeth's on fire. Go do your own research if you want to read about that, because it's a lot, and I don't feel like picking up the Twitter pieces to try to read it.
No, for sure.
Guys, we got called out because we haven't watched Velocipaster yet.
Oh, gosh dang it. Yeah, we need to get that done. They're making a sequel to that. Other movie news, Velocipaster 2 is happening, if you didn't know.
Are you serious?
Yes.
I hope it has like a $60 million budget.
Yeah, it's happening. For real. Yeah, it's happening. I saw it.
Get Leo DiCaprio
Yeah, let's do it.
to play the pastor's
He'll
son.
do it.
Velocipaster is not doing... Rooster Teeth is not doing right now. They're dying right now. Go look at Twitter. You'll see what I'm talking about.
It's where we get all of our news.
That one, because...
I literally just read a thread.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
We generally try and do a little bit more research here.
No.
Fanboy.
No.
Some of us try to do a little bit more
We
research.
take things at face value and we never look into them or research anything.
So I'm going to hit you